There are two ways to prepare and improve an adventure motorcycle for unexpected situations. One, you can research the protection you need, wait patiently for Black Friday or Amazon Prime Day to buy everything at a sensible price, and then take your time installing stuff at home. Or two, you can throw the bike into a Yorkshire river and allow the riverbed to identify weaknesses and make the shopping list for you. If you have been following this channel, you know which option I took. Today, the Tuareg gets a new skid plate, crash bars, and hand protection. And by the end, you will find exactly how expensive a few seconds in a Yorkshire river can be. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who follow me more regularly, you will know that when I fell in Whitby, I broke quite several stuff in the bike. So this video will be about repairing all of those things and trying to get the bike back to riding order. One of the things that broke first was the brake pedal, the back brake pedal. Unfortunately, or fortunately, that one has already been repaired because it wasn't safe to ride around just with the front brake, especially considering how England can be rainy. So we have a new brake pedal already. If you recall, it was completely snapped in here. I got a bolt installed there temporarily to kind of sort it out and to be able to ride back home. But if we go around the bike a little bit and see all of the other stuff that was broken on that drop, so we will be replacing this. So that's the OEM Handguards that don't really guard anything. It cracked in here. As you can see, there's a little scratch in here. And that's all evidence of a drop that you have in the fairings, which is miraculous because the handlebars took the brunt of the hit, and so did this little baking tray that they call skid plate. So we'll be replacing the skid plate. We will be adding some nice crash bars because one time was lucky, second time might not be, so to protect the fairings. And we will be replacing the handguard as well with some proper protection. So once we finish with it all and deal with all of the issues caused by the drop in Whitby, the bike should be ready for a longer journey. We should start by dealing with Aprilia's skid plate. Calling this a skid plate is generous because this was apparently designed to protect the engine from maybe aggressive gravel, some low-flying insects, and if you touch it, it feels more like an aluminium warning label positioned beneath the engine. It did absorb the impact, which I'm thankful for, in much the same way that a digestive biscuit absorbs tea. But I guess it can be said that it did its job, so thank you Aprilia for this. And here it is. What started life as a flat protective panel has returned from Whitby as a three-dimensional terrain model, and the replacement from AXP is this one. It's made from high-density polyethylene or something like that, I don't know how to pronounce, which is a very technical way of saying that I am replacing the original baking tray with an industrial chopping board. It is supposed to be as strong as steel and aluminum options, while being, in some cases, maybe half as heavy. At around 3.5 kilos or 3.8, doesn't really matter. I mean, I am already a 90 kilo rider on top of this bike, so I don't really need to add another 8 kilos for no reason at all. No, just need to remove these ones.
These ones.
Definitely don't remove this one. That is, if you don't have a mess in your hands. This one goes in there. Again, just a little drop of Loctite, and you should snuggle it. Surprisingly clean underneath here. Little drop of Loctite. That should do the trick. Again, nice red Loctite, like so. It's just me. Does anyone else loves the sound of ratcheting? And so that is the button of the motorcycle protected now. It's not subtle, doesn't really match the color scheme, but neither was the sound of the original plate meeting the floor. So this should let me traverse terrain more confidently and less afraid of breaking stuff. That's skid plate done. Next step, crash bars. So here you go. The bike didn't have any crash bars when it fell, so it was protected essentially by Optimism, which offers actually excellent weight saving capabilities. At the time, I believed that careful riding will make the crash bars unnecessary, and I've of course been proven wrong, but only partially, and I will insist on that. I agree that the previous skid plate, the brake pedal and the handlebar took all of the impact, but the fairing escaped with little more than that little scratch in there. So my theory was not entirely useless, and I will keep insisting that I was only partially wrong. Anyways, I present to you the new crash bars. They are Motoguards crash bars. I don't know how good they are, but couldn't find much online in terms of reviews or any real world experience with those. But a couple of trusted friends swore by them, so here we are. They seem quite strong though. I like to eyeball everything a little bit before installing. That should be, in theory, the left side of it. That fits right like this. Okay, let's get working. Okay, let's say red Loctite. Well, I had to stop for a bit my work on this because there was a slight incompatibility between this AXP thing and the washer that comes with the crash bars, so they wouldn't go through. They wouldn't go through like this. So essentially, I would have a massive space like that between the two. So what I did is I just bored down this bit and made the hole here slightly bigger, so that then the compatibility between the two parts is much better than it was before. Well, let's get this done with, shall we? Well, the first bolt always fits beautifully, and that's how the entire kit earns your trust, isn't it? While the other side is just there, looking over, learning, and thinking about how we can cause difficulties later. We'll see. Okay. Now we start the installation and the opposite side. Let me eyeball it first. So this one goes like so. So it's this one. Okay, they really... Okay, as expected. Red Loctite, which is fine because they want it to be a more permanent thing. Then up screw. So, okay, and then we just snuggle enough to hold the thing in place. I don't think I like how close this thing is from my radiator. Just make them snuggle. Like that. No. Okay, now let's get ratcheted in. Tie it up and snuggle it in the front. That should be it. So the fairings now have a steel intermediary between themselves and the ground, which is good, and that is a massive improvement from before, because these feel proper solid, and they should take a beating or multiple beatings, I hope, before my fairings are destroyed in the next drop. But between you and me, I did not entirely learn this lesson from the fall. My main reason for wanting crash bars was actually to have somewhere useful to mount bags at the front of the bike, because they're easier to reach and much better for distributing weight around the bike. So I already saw there's some nice bags that I can hang right from there, just so I have a bit more weight distribution and I have stuff closer to my hands as I ride. Yeah, they are armor, but they are also extremely expensive shelving. Next step. So this is the OEM handguards, as you can see, properly broken. Most of the upper impact and the drop was taken by these handguards, and it helped saving the fairing, and then it split apart, which makes it less of a handguard and more a single-use protective device. This is the replacement that I got. So those are Barkbusters. For when you would prefer the lever not to become part of the landscape, you install this. Almost sounds like cheap advertisement for cable TV, but anyway, the original relied entirely on molded plastic. This one contains a metal backbone, which is always reassuring when possibly landing on hard ground, which will definitely happen again. And as you can see, this is just plastic mold essentially, nothing here to protect anything. So, time to replace it. Well, both levers are, see? So, braking remains available, clutching remains available. Nothing is disabled, nothing is getting on the way. By my mechanical standards, that's been a resounding success. And final part of the puzzle. I have now completed all of the upgrades that this bike would ever need. So you have the new crash bars, new skid plate, and the Barkbuster Handguards, all looking quite nice and sturdy, which I like. There's one last thing to add, which is a new seat as well. So now we also have a new seat. That's all the upgrades done, just as a test. Right, the bike works, nothing has fallen off, and we have now reached everyone's favorite part of motorcycle ownership and motorcycle repair videos, which is finding out how much all of these actually cost. So the crash bars are Motoguard's Tier 2 crash bars coming from Germany. These were £153 plus £51 in customs. The skid plate, again, is an AXP skid plate. AXP Adventure Engine Guard, that's the full name. And that was another £208 plus another £48 to convince customs to give it all back to me. By the way, the AXP skid plate came from Germany as well. Next was the Barkbusters. So the hardware, the kit cost £85, and then the jet handguards themselves that come with the kit were another £24. Thankfully, no customs on either of those because they were the only ones to actually be sourced from the UK. Then the replacement rear brake lever, which was £102 plus £26 for customs, and that came from Italy of all places. It came directly from Aprilia itself because, again, I couldn't source it from the UK in less than 2 or 3 weeks. From Aprilia it took 3 or 4 days and I had it at the door. And finally, I also bought myself an Aprilia low comfort seat, which was £206 plus a rather enthusiastic £56 customs charge. Again, the comfort seat came from Germany. Or was it Italy? It was Germany. So if you have been mentally adding all of that while I ride, firstly, why would you do that to yourself? The parts cost me £778 plus some fees or some pence. And customs took another £181, which brings the grand total to roughly £959 or £960 if you prefer. So, here we are, a few seconds in a Yorkshire river, just under £1,000. On the positive side, the Tuareg is now considerably better protected, which means next time I throw the bike at the scenery may just have to worry, because now the Tuareg may actually have something to hit back at the scenery.